What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Life of Lauren. I am 25 weeks tomorrow, starting to show more, starting to plan more, so I thought there's no more appropriate time than to have a video about how I manage my money and just financial tips overall, because that's something that I talk about and deal with on a weekly basis these days. So first of all, just getting into it, the game changer for me has been my credit card. Many people have credit cards, but I only use a credit card now. I don't think I've used a debit card in over a year. And why is that so important? Well, first of all, that upped my credit score tremendously. It's also given me the opportunity to gain and accumulate all kinds of points to further give me money and give me credits to buy things that I was gonna buy anyway. So I feel like that's given me an opportunity to travel using my points. That's given me opportunity to buy groceries, gas, all kinds of things using my points. And so the credit card that I use is Capital One. I think it has the most diverse options in terms of how you can use your points. Some other credit card companies are more specific. Maybe you can only use them on travel. Capital One allows me to do basically anything I want. I can even take those points and use them as cash instead. So my goal with that is by next summer, I plan to accumulate so many points that Josiah and I and our new baby can go out of the country and it's completely paid for just by using my points. So there's tons of benefits, but I do kind of want to get into the topic of how do you know you're not overspending on your credit card. So first and foremost, I never spend money I don't have. What I mean by that is I pay off my credit card every single day. So if I don't have that money in my checking account, I do not put that money on my credit card unless it's an absolute emergency. What I mean by that is one time 2 of my tires popped, so I had to go get new ones, and of course I put that on my credit card and paid it off. But otherwise, I try my best to, what was I saying? I'm sorry, I'm getting pregnancy brain. I totally lost the topic that I'm talking about. Oh, not spending money I don't have. The next thing that you should know about having a credit card is it's essential that you don't go over 30% of how much they've given you access to. So like I said, I pay all my bills. That's because I have a certain amount that I can spend on my credit cards, but I stay within 30% of that. So for example, if your limit on your credit card is $2,000 and you pay your rent for $1,200 on your credit card, it could push your credit lower. So you have to be careful about that. You need to know what your limit is, stay within that 30%. The next thing I want to mention about having a credit card is your credit can also go down if you do not pay that credit card on time. So credit cards are awesome if you can pay them in time so that the interest rate doesn't hit you. If that's happening, then maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you're not in a situation where you should be using a credit card that consistently. But if you are, I suggest you put an automatic payment on your credit card. But here's another loophole you can do. It's best for your credit score if you don't just use that automatic payment. Whoever's in charge of managing credit, they want to see that you're responsible. So they don't just want the automatic payment. They have that due date as a cushion, but you want to pay it even a few days before that. So best case scenario, you're paying your credit card off every single day, having that automatic payment as a cushion. And if you're finding that you just cannot make that payment on time, hold back and take a look at how you're spending your money and determine whether you should even be buying those things that you're buying if you're not able to pay them on time. Moving into what kind of accounts I have. So of course I have my checking account. This is the money I put into my account that pays off my credit card since I use them simultaneously, or I use them both on a regular basis. Like I said, buy everything on my credit card, pay it off the next day with my checking account money. In my checking account is where I budget all my bills and I leave that money in there. So I know weekly and monthly how much I'm going to spend on groceries. I know my average for that. I know my average electric bill. I put everything, I write it down on paper actually, or in my notes, whatever I choose for that month, so that I know what I'm looking at and I know what I need to put aside in my checking. once those bills are taken care of, and I do actually even put aside money in my checking account for things that I know I'm gonna want, like eating out. I budget that in so that I'm not overspending. Anything excess I have, I do have a savings account where I put some of that money in as well. But this savings account that I have is more so for like a rainy day account. So I don't like to put myself in a position where if a medical bill comes up, if something happens with my car and I need to pay that, I don't want to be stressed out by the situation and then also stressed out because I can't afford it. So I'd just rather have one stressor. And so with that savings money, that rainy day account, that's what I would use in the event of emergency. Otherwise, I also have a separate investment account where I haven't been able to do this in quite a few months because I've been saving for a lot of other things, for the baby, we're moving, that sort of thing. But my investment account is my long-term account that I put any additional money I have left over into so that it accumulates over time, which is exactly what I'm doing for my baby as well. When I found out I was having a baby, oddly enough, one of the first things I did was start a savings account. That account has I put quite a bit of money into it already. Every check I put a little bit at a time, and so it's really accumulated. My next step is I need to find a good investment account. I need to see what I want to invest in, what's the best option. Probably my baby wouldn't receive this money until a long ways down the road, but I find it to be very beneficial to put money into an account that's going to accumulate even more than what you've put into it. So that's why investment accounts are important and not just savings accounts. One other thing that Josiah and I have is we both have life insurance on one another in the event that, God forbid, something happened to either of us. And why I'm bringing this account up is because if you do have a spouse, it's probably, and children, a really good idea to get life insurance to protect your loved ones. But we pay a little bit more with our plan each month because it's a 30-year plan. And so in 30 years, we pay this extra amount so that if it's not touched at all, we get all that money back that we've put into it. So that also serves as life insurance, but as a savings account. So you want a lot of layers of protection. You want to think about your current situation, which is your checking. You want to think about what could potentially happen, which would be your savings, your rainy day account. And then you want to think about the future. Where do you want to be? At what age do you want to be there? And what kind of investment account is going to get you there the fastest? I do consider myself to be pretty responsible when it comes to my finances. What's funny is that I feel like everyone thought I was going to be so bad with money growing up because I would spend, if I got money for Christmas or my birthday, I was at the mall the next day. It was gone. I was begging my grandma or my mom or somebody to take me to the mall so that I can spend it literally to the cent. And so I think people assumed, oh my gosh, she can't handle her money, which is a good assumption. But I would always say, no, since a young age, I know that when I grow up, I'm gonna have to save my money and spend it on things I don't want to spend it on, like bills. So I'm gonna spend it all right now while I have it. And it actually was true. But the fundamentals of how I handle money, I've been super blessed and just so fortunate that I have parents who are really responsible with their money. So are my grandparents, and I learned those habits early on in high school. My dad, like I showed in my ag video, we had tons of cattle, so I did buy cattle of my own. My dad helped me in the investment part of putting the money into the cattle, and then they have babies later, then you can sell them for double that because you have double the head of cattle, that sort of thing, which helped me a lot. I've seen them buy different types of real estate, and I've just seen how you can use money to make money. And if you just let it sit in an account, it's just gonna stay the same. Or you're gonna be tempted. For me, I'm also so tempted to spend money that I'm saving if it's just sitting there. Like for example, if I see something I like at a store, it's more tempting for me to be like, oh, you know what, I actually do have the money to spend on that. But if you invest it, there's a lot of taxes that come into that. You get taxed for taking money out of it, out of your account, if you don't leave it in there long enough to accumulate. And there's just a lot of different aspects that go into that. So investing is a great way to say, I'm deciding to put this money aside. I'm not gonna touch it for my investment accounts. I'm hoping to not even touch them for at least anywhere from 5 to 10 years, but for sure not 5. I've had it in there, I think 2.5 years now. Investing can look really different. It can be investing in a home, it can be investing in stocks, or even starting a company that you know can make you passive income in the future. Maybe you wanna buy some cows like me, like I did, but it's just always good to make sure that you know where your money is, you know what purpose it's serving. Is it filling a need for you now, a future need, or just wasting it carelessly? All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this gave you ideas about how you can manage your money better, what kind of accounts serve what kind of purposes, or what potential purposes they can serve. I hope that you are inspired to put your money somewhere that's going to increase in value as time goes on, and you just work smarter and not harder. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment if there's any financial advice that I missed that has benefited you, because I really do want to know and continue to learn how to just increase my knowledge in that area, and we'll see you on the next video.